Hi. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how to print labels from Node-RED using ZPL, Zebra programming language. Here, I'm using a CASN label printer that's already connected to the network via Ethernet. So next, I'll show you how we can send a print command from Node-RED over the network using ZPL, and get the label printed exactly the way we design. There are a few steps I'll walk you through in this video. First, we have the printer configuration. In this step, start by installing the printer utility based on your printer type. Then open the application and connect your printer using a USB cable. Click on Get Information to check the printer details and make sure it's properly connected. Also, make sure the ZPL protocol is selected, and then go ahead and set the IP address. Here are the detailed steps when using the printer utility to configure the printer. Make sure all the settings are correct. This is important so the printer can communicate properly over the network. If the IP address hasn't been set yet, you can enter one that matches your current network range. Just make sure it's still available and not used by another device. Once everything looks good, go ahead and click Set to apply the configuration. The next step is creating the ZPL code. To create and preview your label design, you can use the website Labelary.com. This tool is really helpful because it lets you simulate how your label will look without actually printing it. So you can test your ZPL code, make adjustments, and make sure everything looks right before sending it to the printer. This is the website. You can go to the ZPL intro page to learn the basics of ZPL, Zebra programming language. On this page, you'll find a simple introduction to how ZPL works. It explains how labels are built using commands, like setting the label start and end, positioning elements, and adding text, barcodes, or shapes. You can also check out the documentation page for a quick reference. On this page, you'll find a list of commonly used ZPL commands along with short explanations for each one. It's really useful when you're building your label, especially if you need to quickly look up how to position text, draw shapes, or generate barcodes. Next, you can go to the Labelary viewer page. Here, you can write your ZPL code and instantly see a preview of your label. This makes it much easier to test and adjust your design without needing to print every time. Make sure you also set the correct label size. In this example, I'm using an 8 by 10 cm label. Setting the right size is important so the layout, spacing, and positioning match the actual printed result. You can also download the result in different formats, like ZPL, PNG, and others. So it's really useful, whether you want to save the code or share the label preview. Now, I'll walk you through a simple example of the ZPL code that I created. This is to help you understand how each part of the code works, so you can easily modify or create your own label design later. On the left side, you can see the ZPL code, and on the right side is the label preview. In this example, I'm using a label with a width of 80 mm and a height of 100 mm. The printer has a resolution of 203 dpi, or dots per inch. From that, we can convert it to around 8 dots per millimeter. So based on the label size, we can calculate the total number of dots for both the width and the height. This will be our reference when positioning elements like text or barcodes on the label. In ZPL, there is caret character, and it's used to indicate a command. So whenever the printer sees this caret symbol, it knows that what follows is an instruction, not regular text. That's why almost all ZPL commands start with caret. Like XA, FO, or FD. In the code, it starts with XA, which marks the beginning of the label format. And at the end, there's XZ, which indicates the end of the label format. So basically, everything written between these two commands is what the printer will process as one complete label design. Next, we have FO570,30. This stands for field origin, which is used to set the starting position of an element on the label. In a label layout, the coordinate system starts at the top left corner, which is position 0, 0. So in this case, 570,30 means the element will be placed 570 dots from the left, and 30 dots down from the top. Next, we have A0R30. This command is used to set the font and text orientation. A0 refers to the font type, which is a standard built-in font in the printer. R means the text is rotated to the right, or 90 degrees clockwise. And 30 defines the font size. So basically, this command controls how the text will look, its font, direction, and size. Next, we have fdptlentool.com FS. FD stands for field data, which is used to define the actual content or text that will be printed. So in this case, the text ptlentool.com is what will appear on the label. Then, FS means field separator, which marks the end of that field. Next, let's create a QR code for the label. How do we add a QR code to the label? Just like before, we still use FO to define the position of the QR code. In this case, the QR code starts at coordinate 290,30, which means 290 dots from the left and 30 dots from the top. Next, we have BQN,2,9. This command is used to generate a QR code. BQN tells the printer that we want to create a QR code. The number 2 refers to the QR code model, which is the standard model commonly used. And 9 controls the size of the QR code. The bigger the number, the larger the QR code will be. And just like with text, we use FD and FS to define the content of the QR code. Everything between these two commands will be encoded into the QR code. Next, we'll create a graphic box. Just like before, we use FO, or field origin, to set the position of the box on the label. In this example, the position is 30,30, which represents the top left corner of the box. Next, we use the command GB250,750,2FS to draw the graphic box. GB stands for graphic box. The first value, 250, is the width of the box. The second value, 750, is the height. And the third value, 2, is the border thickness. Then, just like before, FS marks the end of that field. So this command draws a box with the specified size and border, starting from the position we set earlier. Next, we can draw lines using the same graphic box command. In this example, I'm creating 3 lines, 2 horizontal lines and 1 vertical line. For the horizontal lines, I set the height to 2, which is the same as the thickness. This makes the box appear like a thin horizontal line. And for the vertical line, I set the width to 2, so it becomes a thin vertical line. So basically, by adjusting the width and height values, we can use the graphic box to create lines in any direction we need. After creating the ZPL code, the next step is to build a simple Node-RED flow. In this part, we'll set up a basic flow to send the ZPL command directly to the printer over the network. Here's an example of the flow. It starts with an inject node, which acts as the trigger. Then, we use a function node to write the ZPL code that we've already created. Make sure that in the function node, the payload is sent as a buffer using UTF-8 encoding, so the printer can properly read the ZPL command. Next, connect it to a TCP out node, so the payload containing the ZPL code can be sent to the printer over the network. Make sure the printer's IP address and port are set correctly. Also, make sure to check close connection after each message is sent. This is important because it ensures the connection is properly closed after each print job. It helps prevent connection issues and makes sure the printer is ready to receive the next command without any problems. Previously, we wrote the ZPL code directly inside the function node as a hard-coded value. As an alternative, I also created a simple form where you can input the ZPL code, along with a button to trigger the print. This approach allows you to create dynamic labels, so you can easily change the content without modifying the flow every time. Now, let's do a test print. We can trigger the print using the inject node to send the ZPL code that we wrote in the function node. Or, we can also input the ZPL code from the form and simply click the button to send the print command to the printer. And here's the result. After we send the print command from Node-RED, the printer receives the data and prints the label exactly based on the ZPL code we created. And that's it. Now you can start building your own custom labels and integrate them directly with your system using Node-RED. See you in the next video.